Oh, yeah. Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. Welcome to the show, everybody. Johnny North is here with me. What's up, Johnny?
Hey everybody, what's up? I'm here, just not next to David, but I'm here.
Live via satellite, the big man, Johnny North. Johnny, we are talking professional wrestling here. We are on your radios. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on iTunes. We are here. We're not going anywhere. Nothing will stop us, just like nothing will stop the professional wrestling business. Nothing will stop Vince McMahon. He will persevere. WrestleMania is going on, so Wrestling Uncensored is going on. Under special circumstances, of course. Usually we do the show together in the Ringside Report studios. However, today we are doing the show separate. I miss you, Big Johnny. We are in social isolation, just like most of the world right now, staying at home, not seeing too many people, keeping the circle very, very close to avoid infection. So Johnny and I are doing the responsible thing and doing this show at a distance, Johnny North appearing live via satellite.
It's tough, but the show goes on, and that's the main point. And I'm so glad that this week they finally decided WrestleMania is not canceled. That was the greatest news. I was really happy that WrestleMania is going to happen.
This made you happy. You're happy that WrestleMania is still happening, even though the WWE has been doing these empty performance center shows. We've seen Raw and SmackDown now in an empty performance center, and we know that WrestleMania, again, is going to be in front of nobody. It was supposed to be in Tampa in a big football stadium, 70,000 plus. You know the deal. Big stadium show, a lot of fun. WrestleMania. Now, none of that. It's going to be at the Performance Center. It's going to be spread over 2 nights. Rob Gronkowski, former football player, is going to be hosting for some reason. And it's just a completely different vibe of WrestleMania. I'm happy that we get to see wrestling, but at the same time, I don't know, man. There's a part of me that thinks, couldn't we just delay WrestleMania until we could have people in an arena watching it?
Well, they've already built up all these matches. So for us just to take away all these matches and wait for like 2 months, maybe more, who knows? I think it's just too much. I think it's great to give people entertainment now because people need something to get excited about. And WrestleMania, that's one of the best events of the year. And this is cool. It's unique. It's going to be different.
We'll be doing a watch-along for WrestleMania as well. We'll be on the YouTube channel. I'll be here in the bunker. Johnny may be here in the bunker with me, hopefully, by then. We don't know. He may be appearing via satellite for the watch-along, but we're going to be watching WrestleMania with you, and I guess it'll be a 2-night event. We'll be watching WrestleMania for 2 straight nights with you, and I don't know, man. Why do you think they're doing it for 2 nights? Is it just to provide more content? Is it because they're going to be shorter shows each night? Like, how long do you expect the shows to be? That's my first question. How long do you expect each night to be? Is it going to be 2 4-hour wrestling events?
Well, originally I thought 8 matches, but maybe they'd put more, who knows? Because first I thought 16 matches for just that one Sunday show. But now there's going to be 2 nights, so maybe 8 matches spread out the 2 nights. That makes a lot of sense to me. It depends who's going to be available too, because so far everyone's going to wrestle, right? We don't know. There's no battle royals. They canceled the battle royals. It seems like it's just single matches so far.
Well, because of the restrictions on people, you can't have a battle royal, right? Because there's a restriction on how many people you can have in one place at one time. You can't have 30 people in a ring. Doesn't seem safe. So that's why the battle royals are canceled. The Andre the Giant and then the women's battle royal, those are canceled. You say 8 matches over 2 nights. Let's break that down. What does that mean? What are the matches that we're going to have here? So AJ Styles and The Undertaker, that's a go, right? We know that's a go because Undertaker showed up in the empty arena. He beat up Gallows and Anderson. AJ Styles, I thought, cut one of the best promos of the week on Raw. I thought that was fantastic stuff from AJ. I liked seeing AJ Styles talk about it, talk about The Undertaker, saying you can't run, Undertaker. What are you going to do? You can't run. And you see Undertaker walking around. He can barely walk, right? It doesn't look good. Taker is not moving around very well. When he was pacing in the ring, it did not look like he was in Mania shape. So, I wonder what that match is going to be, but we know at least AJ Styles and Undertaker, they've got a hot program. They've got a good feud going. It seems like it's still on track, and that's one match for WrestleMania, right? Goldberg and Roman Reigns, that's probably happening at this point. What else is going to go on? Becky Lynch and Shayna, Charlotte and Rhea. Brock Lesnar is a question mark, though, right? Is he?
Well, we'll find out on Monday, right? Because Brock is hyped to be there this Monday, so we'll see if there was a problem with the border, or if not. Hopefully he got across, and he's going to obviously have to stay in the States now, so that's going to be rough. But hopefully Brock will be there.
I think Brock is a guy who probably has a residence in Canada, but also a residence in the States. So I think Brock will be all right. I'm less concerned about Brock than I am about a lot of people in the world right now. Although he had that diverticulitis, he might have a weakened immune system. This could be a tough time for Brock. You never know, right? He did have those health problems. So hopefully Brock is okay, and he's able to wrestle Drew McIntyre, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler, Goldberg, Roman, John Cena versus The Fiend, Undertaker versus AJ Styles, and Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Right now, Big Johnny, officially, there are 7 matches planned for WrestleMania. 7 matches over 2 nights. So they got to add some stuff, right?
Well, I imagine something with Dolph Ziggler, Otis, Mandy Rose. Something was going on with that, right?
Yeah, there's a rumor that it'll be like Otis and Sonya against Mandy and Dolph at Mania, which, ugh.
That's terrible. That's horrible.
Yeah,
I hope that doesn't happen.
Hey, are Dolph and Mandy a real couple? Because they're posting a lot of pictures on Twitter together, and it seems like either they're taking the gimmick really seriously or the gimmick has somehow made them a real couple. I can't figure that out.
Well, it's a lot like what happened maybe with Benoit and Nancy.
No.
It wasn't real at first, but then...
No, not like that, John. Not like that. Something else. Pick a different one. My goodness.
It's tough. Well, you know what I mean, though, by that. I don't mean how that ended up, but just how that wasn't real and then became real.
Right. They started working together. They were an on-screen couple, and then it became real. How about Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan? Remember when the Bellas were infatuated with Daniel Bryan, and then Brie and Bryan wound up getting married? How about a nice example, John? How about that? Let's keep things light.
Yeah. Sure, I suppose.
Leave it to Johnny, right? He's always going to bring it to a weird place. That's why we love you, Big Johnny. So 7 matches right now, spread out over 2 days. I'm not really sure what any of this means. Rob Gronkowski is going to be hosting. That adds nothing to this show for me. I don't know about you. I barely know who this guy is. I know him most for appearing at WrestleMania a few years ago as Mojo Rawley's friend. I don't know. I know he played for the Patriots. He probably knows Tom Brady. I know he knows Aaron Hernandez because I watched that Aaron Hernandez special on Netflix, and Rob Gronkowski was on that. So That's pretty much all I know about Rob Gronkowski, man. I don't know. I'm not a football guy. You watch football. Does this add anything to you? I know he's a personality, but do you care?
Well, I'm not a Patriots fan. If I was a Patriots fan, yeah, I'd be kind of more interested, but I don't really care too much. It's kind of cool. I guess he's going to eventually wrestle, but I don't think he's going to wrestle at all at WrestleMania. Maybe he'll get involved with somebody, have an interaction, but that's about it.
Well, apparently he was at the Performance Center. I don't know how much training he's been able to get in now because they're not really doing much training at the Performance Center, but there was talk that he was trying to be a pro wrestler. Didn't they say that he signed with the WWE and was going to wrestle at some point?
Yeah, I imagine, but is it to wrestle or is it just to show up every week? I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if he wrestles eventually, but like you said, I doubt he's got a lot of training. And given the way WrestleMania's gotten shaped up now, just having him appear, do a couple promos, maybe punch somebody out, that's about it, I think.
Yeah, I don't really care about Rob Gronkowski whatsoever. It doesn't really add anything for me that he's there or not. It's fine. They needed some sort of celebrity appearance at WrestleMania, and I guess this is what they got under the conditions. I'm not really going to complain. I don't really, it doesn't add anything, but I'm not going to worry about what he's going to do at Mania. I don't think it really matters, quite frankly. I think the matches are more important. What did you think of Raw this week, the promos, and really the lack of wrestling on the show?
I was very disappointed with Raw. The fact that they just aired the Rumble match, the men's Rumble match for most of the show, for some reason that got ratings. That's kind of very disappointing that people actually want to watch that instead of matches. Like, we only got Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Good match, but what was that, 5 minutes at most?
Yeah.
And the rest was just talking the rest of the show? Terrible.
Very little wrestling. Why do you think they did that?
Maybe they're trying to save the whole aspect of cool wrestling in empty arenas for WrestleMania.
Save it? Really? I mean, you're still doing TV. I find it strange that they're not doing more wrestling. To me, that's kind of what you want to do in these empty arenas. Focus on the match, focus on the wrestling, and let everything else kind of fall into the background. I think AEW did a really good job this week. They had a lot of matches in that empty arena, and they all turned out very well.
But it was different for them. They actually had like an atmosphere. With WWE, there was no people around. The only thing you kind of had was Stone Cold Steve Austin and Byron Saxton, and that just seemed like a commercial for Austin selling his beer. It really wasn't anything great.
That was not a good promo, right? It was not good. And you know what? Fans or no fans, that promo's weak. I think that's really something that people are forgetting about here in the WWE. The WWE's problem isn't that they're doing it in front of no audience. The WWE's problem is that their product is not very good right now. People are like, wow, AEW really figured out how to do an empty arena show. Yeah, AEW figures out how to do everything. Okay? AEW is a great wrestling company. WWE right now, it's just not that good. I mean, before this whole Corona thing struck, Johnny, we were talking about WrestleMania, and it didn't look that good. I mean, this is the same WrestleMania card that we were talking about before this thing, before the isolation, before the world shut down. We're seeing the same card on paper here. Nothing's really changed in the WWE. It's not that there's no fans, so it's no good. It's that it's no good.
You can look at it like that for sure, but I really find it's the execution. I mean, they could do more than just what they're doing. I mean, vignettes. You could do stuff like backstage, no? Like AEW pulled that off. WWE, it didn't look like they even tried.
I thought Kevin Owens' backstage promo was really good.
Good, but very short, though. I mean, that's all you got, though.
Yeah, but, I mean, given the circumstances, half of Raw was the Royal Rumble from this year. They didn't really want to show much wrestling. It was a 3-hour show. Over an hour and a half of it was just airing the Rumble again. So it was a replay deal. They did, on SmackDown, they re-aired the Elimination Chamber. They're just re-airing stuff, which I get. They have a lot of time to fill on any given week. It's a lot of time, and they don't have much content. But I thought the promos were good because, well, some of them were good. The Kevin Owens promo I thought was really good. It was backstage. It was passionate. I liked it. The Edge promo to start the show, I thought that was really good. That was passionate. The Becky Lynch stuff was all right. Short and sweet. It was fine. The Austin thing, though, at the end where he's reading those cards, it's 316 day. It's 316 day because your boss works for you. It's like, oh, come on. Like, it wasn't very... Sorry, the Austin voice just kills me. I swear
it's okay.
I'm coughing. I swear I'm coughing because of Stone Cold, not because of the Rona. All right, I don't have the Rona. So it just wasn't a good promo from Stone Cold. It would have been better had there been an audience there, and he could have said what, and they could have said what back, and he could have said, "Give me a hell yeah," and there would have been a whole crowd going, "Hell yeah!" There could have been elements of that promo made better by a crowd, but the meat and potatoes of that promo, just not very good. And the whole back and forth with Byron Saxton, it was pretty flat.
Well, I think that may have been the main problem. Like maybe if you got involved with someone who's on the actual WrestleMania card and got involved maybe with a feud a bit, just made that more interesting for a WrestleMania match than just like Byron Saxton, who you see every week and he's kind of a joke on television. That
Yeah.
was the problem, I think.
He's not relevant in any way. No one cares about Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton's getting involved in the promo. Stone Cold gives him a stunner, and it's like, come on, just give him a stunner already. Get this over with. And then Becky Lynch comes out. I like Becky and Stone Cold toasting, having some beers, and then stunning Saxton. That was all right.
She got soaked.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Everybody does. It's
That was
Stone
good.
Cold. It's a beer bash, brother.
I don't know if you saw what happened when Raw went off the air. Like Crime Time came out as well. Crime Time, sorry. The Street Profits came out.
I'm usually
Now
the
I
one.
did it when you did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I call them Crime Time.
You got in my head.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I saw that. The Street Profits also took stunners from Stone Cold. Like, whatever. It just wasn't that good. You know, it with a crowd, without a crowd, it just wasn't a great show.
It's too bad. I mean, especially 3 hours. I don't know about you, but I just pretty much fell asleep after the men's rumble when they reshowed that, and then watched the rest afterwards.
Yeah, I was kind of in and out. Once they started airing the Rumble, I'm like, well, I'm going to skip this. I've seen this already. I don't need to watch this whatsoever. I guess it got a better rating than everything else that they did. I don't know why. But it just wasn't that great, and I hope the WWE can learn from some of these mistakes that they've made. They need wrestlers in the audience. They have a big enough roster. I don't understand why they don't have people from NXT in the front couple rows. I don't know why they don't have legends just sitting there watching the show. AEW doing that, I thought added a tremendous amount of energy to the room.
Well, I think WWE with their presentation, they just want to show like the fans aren't there, but we're still carrying on. I guess that was their way of saying like the show goes on, but you're not here. We want you to be here, but you can't be here. But we're still going to put on a show for you. It just unfortunately wasn't as executed as well as AEW did. I mean, they just blew it away.
When the only sound you hear is the wrestling match going on, the ring, you know, the hits and stuff in the ring, and the commentary, it's not enough noise. You know, it's not enough vibe. But when you hear commentary, the wrestling sounds, and then also some guys in the front row, some wrestlers in the front row yelling things and getting involved, it added that third element of like a crowd. You know, it wasn't a huge crowd, but it was enough. And let's be honest, half the AEW roster was wrestling in front of crowds that size only a year ago. So it's fine for them. They're used to it.
Well, for me, if the action's good enough and the commentary is at least subpar, you can kind of get lost in the whole like drama of everything. You don't really need all those extra noises. Just, wow, this is so good to watch. I can get lost in this. It's fine. But unfortunately, I don't think they ever reached that point in WWE. You kind of did a bit with Rey Mysterio. There's a bit of good action, but then it was over as soon as you got into it. So it was very disappointing. One match in 3 hours? Come on. It's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough wrestling. One match in 3 hours, and then you look at AEW. I mean, they did 1, 2, 3, 4 matches in 2 hours.
Long matches, too, by the way.
And good matches.
And good, yes, very good matches.
Yeah, they were good, too.
No, there were some botches, though.
What? Say that again?
There were some botches. There were some mistakes. I believe it was Jurassic Express.
Yeah.
The ending was kind of messed up.
That Jungle Boy thing, what was going on there? He, like, ran off the ropes, runs out of the ring like he's about to dive on the Butcher. The Butcher's just down, so he just jumps out of the ring and stomps him. It was very strange.
Well, the worst part was they replayed that exact moment twice.
From different angles. Why? And on the second angle, you could see Jake the Snake Roberts sitting ringside laughing and then putting his hand over his face like, oh, what are you doing? I put that on my Instagram story. I was laughing so hard. I was like, look at Jake the Snake. You can see Jake the Snake just standing there, just sitting there watching Jungle Boy, and sees him do this strange move, and he's just like, oh, are you kidding me, brother? Fantastic.
That's kind of too bad because I really like the match. It's just, that finish unfortunately went that way. And that's actually harder when you wrestle in front of like the other wrestlers because that's wrestling in front of your peers pretty much. And they can be the hardest critics actually.
Yeah, you're right there. You're wrestling in front of not only your peers, but Jake the Snake Roberts and Tully Blanchard, two legends of the business. Everybody's paying attention to you. Chris Jericho's there, you know? You gotta show up. Billy Gunn was sitting ringside. Colt Cabana's there. MJF is hurling insults at you. Like, it was a good atmosphere. I enjoyed that AEW show so much. AEW did such a good job this week. I hope and pray that we have Dynamite next week. I know that this week on Dynamite they were saying blood and guts on the next episode of Dynamite. Wardlow versus Luchasaurus in a lumberjack match on the next episode of Dynamite. Best Friends versus Lucha Brothers in a parking lot match on the next episode of Dynamite. And if you read between the lines, that means that they're not sure that the next episode of Dynamite will indeed take place next week. If they were sure, they would have said next week on Dynamite. But at no point throughout the 2-hour broadcast did they ever say next week on Dynamite, because at this point in the world, next week is uncertain. At this point, every day the world is changing, so to say that for sure we're going to have a TV show next week, can't really do that. I hope AEW is able to do a show next week. I really hope we get to see blood and guts, because I was feeling pretty down. This has got me kind of down. I don't really like this social isolation stuff. It's rough. It's hard. But I think AEW, watching that Dynamite show, it lightened my mood. It made me feel better. It brought some happiness into my life, and I think it brought some happiness into a lot of wrestling fans' lives. So AEW, I think, did a great service this week, putting on an amazing show, and I hope that they continue, because the world needs something right now. In the wrestling world, wrestling fans, us, the Wrestling Uncensored universe, we need something, and I don't think Vince is going to do it for us, so we got to rely on Tony Khan, Cody, and the boys to take care of us and give us a great AEW Dynamite next week.
Well, this week, fantastic. No complaints really whatsoever. I mean, obviously, some matches weren't perfect, but when you think about an empty arena show, what WWE did, AEW was by far the superior show. Raw or SmackDown combined, AEW was the best. Plus, they tape matches just in case they can't air next week. So they already have matches in the can.
That's brilliant. That is some great stuff. I love it. I love what AEW is doing. This is Wrestling Uncensored. We're going to take a short pause. When we come back, we will tell you what AEW did right. We'll tell you who the Exalted One is. We'll tell you who's going to be joining the Elite next week, and it will be truly delightful, truly wonderful. Someone will be deleted at Blood and Guts. I think you know who I'm talking about, but we'll talk about him when we come back. It's Wrestling Uncensored. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. We're here on your radio. We're at ringsidereport.net. We are not taking a break. We are in social isolation. Johnny North is reporting from the dark woods. I am at the Ringside Report studio bunker. We are doing it. We are watching professional wrestling. This show will not stop. This show is unstoppable. This show is unbeatable. Wrestling Uncensored will survive the apocalypse. If it takes that, we'll still be talking about pro wrestling, because Vince McMahon is so damn stubborn. He will not let the show stop. WrestleMania is happening. Everybody said it shouldn't. WWE said, oh yeah, we're going to do 2 nights. How about that? You thought 1 night was too much? We're doing 2 nights. Deal with it. No Hall of Fame, though. Pretty bummed out that there's no Hall of Fame. Jushin Thunder Liger was supposed to be inducted. Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, was supposed to be inducted. NWO, Batista, and now none of that's happening. Maybe SummerSlam, though. That's what I'm hearing. SummerSlam supposed to be in August in Boston. If they do the Hall of Fame, I'm there, baby.
That's cool, but also, unfortunately, TakeOver's probably been canceled as well, it looks like. Maybe some matches will make WrestleMania, but the TakeOver show itself has been canceled.
Yeah, TakeOver's canceled. Hall of Fame's canceled. WrestleMania week matches are canceled. Everything's canceled except for WrestleMania. There's a lot of independent wrestling shows that, piggyback on WrestleMania week. They're all canceled. Orange Cassidy was supposed to wrestle Minoru Suzuki at that Joey Janela show. Canceled.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, imagine that. I mean, nobody's traveling from Japan, right? There's no wrestling going on in Japan. New Japan hasn't done a show since February. They've been canceled all of March, so nothing's happening in New Japan Pro Wrestling at all. Doesn't look like it's going to resume anytime soon. So, Minoru Suzuki isn't wrestling right now, and he sure isn't going to the United States to wrestle Orange Cassidy on WrestleMania week. So that match that was supposed to happen is not happening, which is super disappointing because I know somebody that actually had tickets for that match, so they're not going. I'm sure they're very disappointed. And, people that were going to watch that match also disappointed because Orange Cassidy is awesome. How about that dive that he did off the stage with his hands in his pockets on the Lucha Brothers this week? That was awesome.
It was very good. Just that he was, unfortunately, that was the only thing he did, I think, the whole show, if not mistaken, because he just was at commentary, not even talking, but then he just out of nowhere does that. It's fun.
He was on commentary, and he looked like he fell asleep at one point.
Yeah, it seemed like it, yeah.
The Lucha Brothers did wind up beating Orange's buddies, the best friends, Trent and Chucky T, via pinfall. I thought that match was really good. It's always fun to see those guys. And I think next week they're supposed to have a parking lot brawl, right? Next week on Dynamite. Yeah, that's the advertised match. So best friends versus Lucha Brothers one more time in some sort of parking lot match. Cody Rhodes opening up AEW Dynamite this week, cutting an in-ring promo talking about, everything going on in the world and continuing and persevering and all that stuff. Then he said Matt Jackson, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, all putting their differences aside to win next week at Blood and Guts. Kenny Omega and Matt Jackson showed up. Kenny talked about the possibility of no Dynamite next week. Kenny's promo, there's something about Kenny Omega, it just always gets me emotional. When Kenny started to talk, I was like, Kenny, man. I feel for Kenny. I love Kenny Omega. And Matt wanted to know where Hangman Page was, and then Hangman shows up on the stage. He's got a drink. Matt wants to know if he's going to stand with them next week, and Hangman just kind of gives him the old cheers, raises his glass to them, and he's like, yep. And then he goes backstage, doesn't join them in the ring. So you see that the Hangman and the Elite thing is still going on, but Hangman's going to put those differences aside. Of course, he's one half of the tag team champions with Kenny Omega, so he's going to, stay with Kenny, stay with the Elite next week, who were supposed to be one man short because Nick Jackson is still injured from the last pay-per-view, which is wild, right? Like, how long is Nick Jackson going to be out for? So they're saying that it's because of that attack from the Inner Circle last week where they crushed him with the door, but really it's from the match at the Revolution pay-per-view against Hangman and Kenny. He hasn't wrestled since then. Hopefully Nick Jackson's able to wrestle again soon, but he's not going to be at Blood and Guts in that 2-cage match, right? 2-cage it, or one giant cage over 2 rings. It's 5-on-5. It was supposed to be 4-on-5. The Elite, one man short. Of course, the Elite represented by Cody, Hangman, Kenny Omega, and Matt Jackson, one half of the Young Bucks. I thought the 5th man for the Elite was just going to wind up being Dustin Rhodes until Vanguard 1 arrived in Jacksonville. And if you don't know who Vanguard 1 is Matt Hardy's drone and friend, Vanguard 1. Now, Vanguard 1 appeared at the end of AEW Dynamite this week. It was Santana, Ortiz, and Jake Hager beating Matt Jackson, Hangman Page, and Cody Rhodes in a 6-man tag. Jericho was on commentary. Excellent on commentary, by the way. And then Jericho cut a very long promo. You could tell that they were kind of stalling for time at one point. Like, Jericho's talking, and he just goes over to Sammy Guevara. Hey, Sammy, tell him how sexy you are. And Sammy's like, I'm so sexy. And it's like, okay. And then Jericho's like, well, sees Brandy Rhodes, who's doing ring announcing for the night. which was a nice touch. I like that. Felt like a family vibe with Brandy doing the ring announcing. And yet Jericho's like, "What are you looking at, Brandy?" And then he sees Dustin Rhodes, and he's like, "Keep Dustin away from me. He scares me." And it was just like you could tell it's an off-the-cuff remark. Jericho's just kind of vibing. He's stalling for time until the drone shows up. My favorite line, though, from Chris Jericho was, he says that he is banning all fans from future AEW events until he says so. So until Chris Jericho says that fans are allowed back to watch AEW shows, there will be no fans, which I love, because we know the real reason why there's no fans at these wrestling shows. But Chris Jericho, the consummate professional, the arrogant heel, the delusional heel, just fantastic, saying, "It's because of me. I said that there's going to be no fans, so there's no more fans until I say so." I thought that was an amazing touch from Chris Jericho. Empty arena, crowd full of people, give that man a microphone, and he's going to deliver each and every time. That's why he is who he is. Le Champion doesn't need the belt to be Le Champion. He is Le Champion of our hearts. He is the man. And he just delivered another great promo, great performance on commentary, and then a great promo. And I'm sure he's going to have another great performance at Blood and Guts, hopefully next week when it's Inner Circle versus the Elite +1.
Jericho is great. I don't know if you heard his new podcast with Matt Hardy.
No.
Like, he revealed that, yes, that he was stalling for time because you're waiting for Vanguard 1 to get in the ring. So that's why that you saw that.
Yeah, I could tell. I didn't need to hear it from Jericho to tell that he was stalling for time. When he goes over to Sammy Guevara and goes, "Hey, Sammy, tell him how sexy you are." He's like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then when he starts talking to Brandy Rhodes, "Hey, Brandy, what are you looking at?" When Jericho starts just looking at people and saying, "What are you looking at?" when he's cutting a promo and like the whole focus is on him, you can tell he's just stalling for time. You knew something was about to take place. Vanguard 1 shows up. I didn't know that there was a Matt Hardy, Chris Jericho podcast. Thank you, Johnny North. That's something that I'm going to use to entertain myself during this self-isolation times. I like that everybody's putting out content. Hopefully you're enjoying this show. I know it's a tough time right now. We're putting out content. We're keeping it going. And, of course, the man, the deleted one, the broken one, Matthew Hardy. Ah, yes. It was truly wonderful to see him once again. I wanted to get that man a big plate of green beans because they are a delicacy, as you know. It was beautiful to see Matthew Hardy, version 1, back in a wrestling show that truly appreciates him. It was beautiful to see Matt Hardy showing up for AEW in the stands, the empty stands, just standing there, doing the delete, getting excited. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Beautiful way to end a wrestling show. The reveal, the debut of Matt Hardy. AEW, they brought it. Luke Harper showed up. Matt Hardy closed the show. And it's broken Matt Hardy. The broken brilliance is back. I love it. WWE squandered what they had with Matt Hardy for 3 years. Finally, he's broken free of the shackles of the WWE. He can go to AEW and be the top superstar that we all know he is.
What I thought was really great, though, was the fact they kind of swerved it where you thought he was going to be the Exalted One. But that didn't happen. I think that was a great move by them. And the fact they were able to deliver Matt Hardy in the end when you didn't get Matt Hardy at first.
Yeah, that was really cool, right? Because a lot of people, including us, thought maybe Matt Hardy, the Exalted One, the Dark Order has been teasing the Exalted One for so many weeks. Maybe it was finally going to happen here. And then it's Luke Harper. Daniels was like...
Brody Lee.
Yeah, Brody Lee, whatever. I mean, we know him as Luke Harper, right? Chris Daniels and Frankie Kazarian were in the ring confronting Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, the Dark Order, saying, "Look, you're wasting our time. There is no Exalted One." And then the Exalted One appeared on the screen, and he started talking, and then you could see his voice got unscrambled, and then you saw, and the reveal was Luke Harper from the WWE, from the Wyatt family, from the Bludgeon Brothers, Eric Rowan's best friend, right? So Harper was there. Harper was there, and Harper's like, oh, Daniels, you're not the first old man not to believe in me, but you'll be the last. And I was like, oh, he's talking about Vince. I get it. Get it? Do you get it, John? Yeah, good one.
Oh, I got it.
I mean,
fired.
Yeah, I get it. So Brody Lee, who he says, I'm Brody Lee and I'm the Exalted One. So he's not Luke Harper because, of course, that was his WWE name. So he's the Exalted One. He's Brody Lee. That was his name before the WWE. And he takes out Daniels and Kazarian with the rest of the Dark Order. I don't know if you noticed, though, he grabbed Daniels in the Sister Abigail position. The Bray Wyatt, the Fiend finishing maneuver. It looked like he was going to hit Sister Abigail, and then he turned it around into this clothesline type thing. But you can see the nods to the Wyatt family, to the WWE. Like, he was, in the promo talking about not the first old man, not to believe in me, but you'll be the last, doing the whole Wyatt family finishing maneuver deal. There were some nods to, yes, I'm Luke Harper. Yes, you've seen me before, but now I'm Brody Lee, and I'm the leader of the Dark Order. So it's kind of weird for me because I was like, okay, so he's kind of Brody Lee, but Brody Lee's kind of still Luke Harper. Like the character that we're seeing right now, he's the leader of this cult-like thing. He comes from the Wyatt family that was a cult-like thing. So it leads me to believe that the true leader of the Dark Order is not Brody Lee, but it is the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. All right? That's a deep reveal, John. Let's go in deep.
Yeah. I don't see that happening whatsoever, but that's a nice way of looking at it, I suppose, if you want to. But I don't see Bray Wyatt.
Imagine, though, if somehow in whatever, a couple of years, he's out of his contract. Rotunda, okay. Right? I'm talking about the man Rotunda, right? He's out of his contract, Bray Wyatt. He decides to go to AEW. How great would it be if AEW made him like the supreme leader of the Dark Order? Like he comes in and it's like, yeah, Harper's like, yeah, I'm the Exalted One, but this is the like super Exalted One. It's Bray Wyatt, It would be cool if they played the long game where Harper's like, yeah, like it would be nice if once in a while he's like, yeah, maybe sometimes I get some advice from a friend or, they could play it. I'm saying a long story like that would make sense for AEW. If they got Bray Wyatt in like 2 years.
Yeah, sure, but I wouldn't expect that to happen whatsoever.
No, me neither.
Just got to run with Brody Lee now, in my opinion. See what he can do in this character.
Yeah, I'm kidding around.
It's a new adventure.
Yeah, I'm kidding around.
Good.
Johnny. I'm just kidding around. But Matt Hardy showing up in AEW, just fantastic. And next week, in the Blood and Guts match, it is supposed to be Matt Hardy, Matt Jackson, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and Cody Rhodes against Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Santana, Ortiz, and Sammy Guevara. The Elite, along with Matt Hardy, versus the Inner Circle. This is going to be fantastic. I mean, I can't wait for this. And I think, I think you'll agree with me here, John, we saw the six-man tag to close out Dynamite this week where the Elite was on the losing end. Matt Hardy's going to be making his debut here in this match for AEW. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Elite are going to win Blood and Guts on Wednesday.
Well, they've lost, I think, all the other matches against the Inner Circle, if I'm not mistaken, or at least all the latest ones. So it makes the most sense. However, Hager still has not lost yet in AEW, and maybe they're going to push that a lot. Because they were kind of pushing him against Moxley, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
It felt like, because Moxley, I think, talked about Hager first, it felt like they were building towards Hager-Moxley for the pay-per-view. And Moxley said he's going to be there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Inner Circle wins. Remember, it's just one tap out. It's over. He's got the big submission move.
So you think Inner Circle with the force of Jake Hager. That's interesting. That's not something I thought about. Hager's still undefeated in AEW. But, like, he's in the ring with Kenny Omega, man. Like, Kenny Omega could easily take him out. It's Kenny Omega. If you're gonna lose,
you'd like to believe that.
If you're gonna lose to anybody, it should be Kenny, right?
You like to believe that, but he's more in the tag team ranks now, right? He's not the big single star. He kind of said it too, if I'm not mistaken, on Dynamite, that Jericho's the one who pushed him down. Jericho's the one that took the spotlight from him.
Yeah, Jericho's the one that stopped him from wrestling for the championship, right? He lost to Jericho in a match to qualify for the first ever title match.
There's kind of two stories in the sense where Jericho's the one who's always been like getting one up on the Elite. So maybe this is now where they get the one up on Jericho. But Jericho has a strong group. You can't deny that. And maybe now they're going to build up Hager to go for the title.
I don't see him as an ex-AEW champion, though.
Challenger, though, I see that.
Yeah, I could see him challenging Moxley. I just don't believe him beating Jon Moxley at this point in time. So AEW, I thought, did a fantastic job as far as doing a good show, doing limited promos, having matches that you needed. I liked, again, MJF did a tremendous job ringside, just yelling at all the baby faces, being this irritating fan, just being MJF as part of the crowd, and also Colt Cabana on the other side, on the babyface side. I thought he was an MVP of the show as well. He didn't have to wrestle, but just being on the mic, being in the crowd, reacting to the matches. Colt Cabana is a tremendous talent. I don't think we've talked enough about how great of a signing that is for AEW. Colt Cabana is now, I think, full-time with AEW, still taking some indie bookings, but Colt is going to be on all the Dynamite shows, all the dark shows, and that's great. This is a guy who's been in the wrestling business for over 20 years. He's a very talented guy. He's a podcaster. He's a professional wrestler. He's a, you know the deal from The Art of Wrestling. If you don't listen to The Art of Wrestling, you're missing out. It's one of my favorite podcasts. It's an inspiration for this very show, Wrestling Uncensored. I'm a big fan of Colt Cabana's, and the fact that he's now on a big show like AEW Dynamite, he's on TNT every week, I think it's great, and it's about time, quite frankly, that a big wrestling company picked up Colt Cabana. He's one of the best guys going today. Tremendous run in New Japan recently. Great run in Ring of Honor, in NWA as well. WWE missed the boat on Colt Cabana. They called him Scotty Goldman and really did nothing with him. And they literally told him creative has nothing for you. And it's like, just let him be Colt Cabana. The guy is money. Yeah. The guy's been so good for so long in professional wrestling. He's one of these guys, and it happens a lot. There are guys in pro wrestling that are so talented, yet they're never on the big stage, and you're just baffled. You're like, why hasn't this happened for him yet? Why hasn't he become a megastar of wrestling? Why haven't one of these big companies figured it out with a guy like Colt Cabana? I mean, Johnny North, you're another example. I'm like, why hasn't the WWE figured it out yet? Why haven't they signed him? Just destroy Adam Cole, but, that's another story, Big Johnny. But, there are guys out there like a Colt Cabana, and it's like, yeah, good AEW. It's about time. They're good friends. He's good friends with the Young Bucks, and I'm sure that facilitated that relationship as far as him signing to the company. He's just great. And, again, he showed why he's so valuable. He could be on commentary. He could do great promos. He could be serious. He could be comedic. In the ring, he's fantastic. He's got everything you'd want in a professional wrestler, and especially a company like AEW. Great signing by them to get Colt in the company.
Yeah, I thought the promo was very good. I enjoyed the shot that he made at WWE, making fun about women biting them. That was nice. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't.
Taking a shot at.
What did he say?
He said, I like the women here. Here they are. No, they're not going to bite me.
Oh, okay.
Taking a shot at Shayna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So.
Good line. Colt is good, man. He's funny. I like Colt Cabana. I also like Lance Archer. Lance Archer is
you like that promo?
I mean, I like him. I think he's a tremendous talent. I think Jake the Snake doing promos for him is probably a good move right now. I like that vignette thing that they did where he's in the ring just smashing people. I thought that was fine. I like that.
It seemed very Matt Hardy-esque, though, no?
Just because he's in a backyard ring. Matt Hardy doesn't have a license on backyard rings. I mean, a lot of guys do that.
No, you're right, but it just feels like if he's going to keep doing vignettes like that, it feels like it's eventually going to be very much like the Broken Universe. I
don't know. Jake the Snake is there. It's a different type of vibe. I I like Lance Archer. Did you notice that him and Braun Strowman this week had a little bit of a thing?
I think Braun thinks of him like a junior or something, like a low value, like Braun Strowman or something like that.
Yeah, like let's see if I can get the quote here from Braun Strowman. Yeah, somebody's like, so with the Lance Archer promo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody goes, this is what they should be doing with Braun Strowman. Here, I'll show it to you here for you, Big Johnny, so you can see it, and our viewers can see it on the radio. You won't be able to see it, but I'll read it for you. So this guy goes, this is what Braun Strowman should have been. You look like a true beast. Talking about Lance Archer in the promo there. And then Braun Strowman goes, great value brand version of me. Good joke. And I think great value brand is like a generic supermarket brand. And then Lance Archer responded, great value, you say? Great. Yup. Valuable? Yup. Experienced? Yup. Agile? Yup. Interesting? Yup. Personality? Yup. So yeah, you can say I'm of damn good value. So thanks, kid. Solid response from Lance Archer. I'd watch a Lance Archer match over a Braun Strowman match all day, every day. Lance Archer was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Fantastic performer in the ring. Very, very good wrestler. If you saw him as Lance Hoyt or if you saw him as Vance Archer in the WWE, you haven't seen this version of Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk, the everybody dies version of Lance Archer. This guy is a tremendous talent. Big Johnny, I know I made you watch a Lance Archer Will Ospreay match, I think from the New Japan Cup last year. And it was one of the best matches of the whole tournament. And I'm sure it opened your eyes to how good Lance Archer is right now.
Well, it just goes to show you, like, someone might be maybe not the best wrestler like 5 years ago, but, in 5 years, they get better. They learn stuff. They wrestle new people. And he learned a lot in Japan, obviously. He's definitely a lot better, especially just looking at him right now. It looks amazing.
Yeah, he's in top shape, and, you go there, you wrestle in Japan, you're wrestling some of these top wrestlers in the world, the real talented wrestlers. He was wrestling there full-time for a very long time. It works. New Japan Pro Wrestling, you work that style long enough, you improve. There's no two ways about it. New Japan Pro Wrestling, as far as in the ring, it's the highest caliber professional wrestling. The sport of professional wrestling is New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't think there's any doubt about that. As far as pro wrestling goes, as far as how good you have to be in the ring, New Japan is the true big leagues. If you really want to make it, if you really want to show that you're a top professional wrestler that you can go, I don't think there's a better place than New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, when it's running, right? Obviously, right now it's been off for a bit, so it's unfortunate. Sure. But when it was running, yes, it was definitely the elite in a sense.
Yeah, as far as the in-ring product, it is the most competent wrestling, the highest level, the highest caliber, the most hard-hitting, and really the best as far as pure wrestling. Puro resu. New Japan, they have the best of the best. But AEW, they're bringing some of that element in. Of course, Kenny Omega was the top guy in New Japan. Now he's one of the top guys in AEW. And AEW, I think, bringing in a nice flavor of that New Japan Pro Wrestling style. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to bring any New Japan Pro Wrestling stars into the company. As far as their big signings, mostly been American stars, right? We talk about the Brody Lees, the Matt Hardys, John Moxley, right? The big signings for AEW have been primarily American wrestlers. I'm waiting for AEW to sign a guy like, Naito or Okada or Ibushi. I'm waiting for them to bring in one of the top New Japan guys, or even a mid-card guy like an Evil or Sonata. Just throw some money at them and have them come over to AEW. I'd like a little bit more Japanese male talent in AEW. I think it would add more flavor to the company. It's already a great show, but I think, in the next 2-3 years, one or two major Japanese stars or recognizable names from Japan coming over to AEW, I think would be a good thing.
Oh, it definitely had a different flavor to it, more of a strong style type of wrestling, something that's different that AEW is all about in a sense.
Yeah.
However, again, at this point, it's not going to happen. You have to just wait. And they just had like 3 debuts in the last like 2 weeks. Like, I think you got to build up your new stars first with the stars you haven't shown also in the last couple of weeks as well.
Who do you need to see more of?
I would love to see more of Jack Evans. I mean, I always see him on Dark, and I think he's fantastic, but I think he should be shown on Dynamite weekly.
Is it time for AEW to bring in a mid-card title?
Well, I think it's time to get that second show going, in my opinion, on television.
Hard to do now, though, right? Start a new TV show.
It is, unfortunately.
Given the circumstances.
When you should get that done as soon as possible, because it really seems like the roster is really growing. You're finally building up the main event talent, but a lot of guys are getting lost in the shuffle, in a sense, it seems, on Dark.
When you bring in guys like Brody Lee and Matt Hardy now, they're going to take up a lot of space. They're going to be on Dynamite every week. They're going to be big stars in the company. They're going to have matches. They're going to have promos. So, if you're on the undercard right now in AEW, I don't know. I don't know where you go. Like, where's Darby Allin?
I think he'd actually wrestled again a match on Dark, but that's it. You didn't see him this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
There's so much. There's just so much, talent-wise. So
yeah,
it's hard.
I feel like I see the best friends way more than I see Darby Allin.
Well, I think they focus a lot on the tag team matches. You'll get one women's match. We got one women's match this week, but they had to pile them all up in there, right? To get them all showcased.
Yeah, that was
I thought it was fine.
It was all right. I thought the match was good. The Fatal 4-Way, Hikaru Shida getting the win over Penelope Ford, Chris Statlander, and Riho. I was impressed with Penelope Ford. I didn't know that she could do all those Hurricane Ranas and stuff. That was pretty nice.
Well, that's what she mainly did at first when she was manager for Joey Janela. She just did all these crazy spots, but she didn't do actual matches. Now she's getting involved in matches, and you can see, like, some spots she can do and some spots she kind of gets lost in a bit. So you're just seeing, like, her inexperience, but they're giving her a chance to kind of shine. She beat Riho on Dark, so clearly they're invested in her.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, shocking, huh?
I didn't know that. She beat Riho, former champion, on Dark? Wow.
And Rio's only lost, 3-4 matches? And she lost to Penelope, so that means something.
Well, Riho's been losing a lot. She lost to Nyla Rose. She lost to Penelope Ford. She was in this Fatal 4-Way. She lost. Got her lip busted open in the process. You notice that?
Did she take the pin, though? I think Penelope took the pin, though. I mean,
yeah.
So she was kind of protected.
Yeah, she still didn't win the match. Hikaru Shida won.
Well, that's it. They're building Shida against Nyla Rose. Something new, something different, which is fine. Shida's very good as well. Give her opportunities.
That's another thing about wrestling right now that kind of worries me. What if people get hurt?
Well, people get hurt all the time. It sucks, but it happens.
Yeah, but do you want to go to a hospital right now?
Oh, you mean seriously injured? Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, like what if somebody gets hurt? What if somebody breaks their arm or whatever, pops their shoulder, breaks their neck, whatever? Who knows? Knock on wood, none of that happens. But, you get busted open, you need stitches, whatever. You have to go to a hospital. You don't want to go to a hospital right now. You don't want to bother anybody at a hospital, certainly, at this point. It's like, all these people are going into hospitals. We're talking about, possible overcrowding, and then you're like, well, why are you here? Well, I got hurt doing a pro wrestling match. It's kind of like, maybe you shouldn't be doing pro wrestling right now. That's the one thing about pro wrestling where it's like, it seems safe, it seems fine, but it's like, if somebody gets hurt, I guess it's different doctors treating the people with the Rona as opposed to treating people with the torn ACLs or whatever. Dr. James Andrews in wherever, Alabama, wherever he is, he's not treating anybody with the Rona, right? So I guess you could go see Dr. James Andrews if you're a wrestler.
But it'd be a lot harder probably to reach him as well now at this point. Traveling's not easy,
Yeah, that's it, man. That's why, take it easy in the matches here, guys. I hope, guys and ladies, everybody, I hope they take it easy. I want you to have good, strong matches. I want WrestleMania to be good, but, like, don't get hurt. Try to be safe. Be as safe as possible right now. Everybody needs to be as safe as possible. Meanwhile, Matt Hardy, could AEW have signed anybody better than Matt Hardy right now? And I'll tell you why. Everybody's doing empty arena shows. Is there a better empty arena wrestler walking the face of the earth today than Matt Hardy? Is there anybody better? I mean, you talk about Final Deletion, all those things that he did in Impact Wrestling. None of those things, none of those matches that were tremendously entertaining, that shook the wrestling world, none of those matches had fans in attendance. And now AEW just signed Matt Hardy to do this gimmick in their company. I mean, you could not have asked for Matt Hardy at a better time. Everybody's doing these empty arena shows, and here comes Matt Hardy, Final Deletion time. I mean, Senor Benjamin, Vanguard 1 isn't even a person. You can hang around with Vanguard 1 all day. I guess Brother Nero is kind of out of the question because he's in WWE, but as far as everything else goes, we're a go with Matt Hardy. Great signing for AEW, especially now. Do you agree with me, John? Is Matt Hardy the best empty arena, the best no fans wrestler walking the planet today, other than maybe The Rock?
Well, that's an empty arena, and then, like, no fans. It's kind of a different situation in a sense, because empty arena, you saw that great match that Mick Foley and The Rock had. I've never actually seen Matt Hardy in a empty arena match, but we've seen him in the vignettes. They're fantastic. He could literally do a Dynamite just from the Hardy compound, and it'd be fantastic, I'm sure. But empty arena, I don't know.
Well, what was the Final Deletion?
Yeah, but that was at his place, if I was not mistaken, the Hardy compound.
Yeah, but there was no fans.
So it's not really empty arena.
It was like a 30,
no fan. Yeah.
30, 40, wasn't it like an hour?
It was, but actually, he said it took like 16 hours because they always like edited everything down. Like,
right.
It was actually very long.
So we have all the time in the world. All you got to do, I mean, as long as you're socially isolating, you've got all the time. There's nothing else to do. There's nowhere to go. So if you're Matt Hardy right now, you do a bunch of matches from the Hardy compound. AEW sends a couple of camera guys, and you get it done, man. I don't know. It seems like Matt Hardy right now, perfect guy given these circumstances, because he's had matches in the past with no fans present that have not only been good, they've been like some of the best stuff in all of professional wrestling. I mean, no one was watching Impact Wrestling, and then Matt Hardy started doing the Broken Brilliance, the Final Deletion, all that stuff, delete, and everybody started watching Impact just for Matt Hardy, myself included, and I'm not the only one. So right now, given where we are in the world, yeah, Matt Hardy's a pretty good signing.
Well, it's probably one of the best signings they've ever made, actually, AEW, when I think about it. In my opinion, they could put Matt Hardy all the way to the championship. He's that good, just on character alone. I mean, when you think about it, he doesn't really have to wrestle that much. But you're throwing him into blood and guts right away. That's kind of rough, because that should be a violent match. And you talk about injuries, I would think injuries could very well happen in that match.
Yeah, I worry about that. I hope everybody is safe. I hope we have a good match, but I hope nobody has to go to the hospital afterwards. That's my hope.
Well, I'd be okay if they delay that match, because it's just so violent.
Yeah. They might. We will find out this week. We still don't know if Dynamite's actually going to take place on Wednesday in Jacksonville in front of no people. We know that WrestleMania is scheduled. We'll continue to talk about the WWE and AEW as long as they put on TV. As long as the WWE and AEW are in business, Wrestling Uncensored stays on the air. We'll be on your radios. You can download the show at ringsidereport.net. You can watch us on YouTube. I'm seeing Johnny North for the first time in over a week now. It feels good to see him. He's got a beard going. Johnny North is unshaven in this social isolation. So watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue to broadcast here. Myself from the bunker, Big Johnny from the dark woods, and we're going to make it happen. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Johnny, stay with me here. Stay on the video. I'll talk to you off the show, all right? So don't disconnect with me, buddy. I'll talk to you a bit about what the plan is for next week and for the future. Everybody else, thank you for watching on YouTube and Facebook Live. Thank you for listening to us on your radios and wherever you get your podcast over at ringsidereport.net. Johnny, I'm not going to ask you when your next match is because I assume there's no bookings.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, for Johnny North, I am Dave Simon. Follow Johnny on Twitter at North Genesis, on Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. Follow me at Dave Simon MMA. This has been Wrestling Uncensored. Stay safe, everybody. Yeah. Yeah. John?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.